Hello, everyone. Rad Lab. Gosh, it's so weird to transition into these events because just 1 second you're not doing them, and then the next second you are. So yeah, my name is Brendan Byrne. I'm the Studio Lab manager uh, for the Council on Science and Technology at Princeton University.
Hello,
Maybe you've heard of
everyone.
it. Oh my gosh, first problem. That's okay. Tonight we're talking about OBS. And one of the first things you should know about OBS is that it's a live streaming software, and there's a lot of routing of audio and video from your computer into OBS and then being output to the internet. It doesn't have to exclusively be used um, for streaming. You can just record video through it, and that's actually very helpful. Um, if you're trying to capture, for instance, last week, let's back up for a minute. Rad Lab is Studio Lab's weekly workshop series where we we being Princeton community members, whether staff, faculty, or students, we present on subjects that we feel passionate about. That might be different from like our professional studies, our disciplines, our backgrounds. They're things that we enjoy that we want to share with other people. And Rad Lab is kind of like this low stakes environment where we can, make mistakes like the audio boo boo a few seconds ago that you just heard. Um, and we get to experiment. We get to try out new things that we've never tried or that no one has ever tried. We get to be experimental. And so Studio Lab is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics space. We encourage that kind of learning and that kind of experimentation specifically. So Rad Lab is kind of an anything. It can be whatever you want it to be. For instance, Cynthia Vu did a presentation on anime music videos last week, which was great. If you want to check it out, everything that we stream ends up going on YouTube, and you can watch it later. So it's on. If you're watching YouTube right now, you can go look at our other videos. It's right there. Check it out. Um, but what I think is very critical about Rad Lab is that we get to do artistic things. We get to do creative things, aesthetic things within kind of a science, technology, engineering context. And so, although anime music videos may not feel like they're not very STEMmy, the principles behind creating anime music videos very much is. You have to like look at the world around you. You have to be an active participant in it. You have to take things and recombine them and recontextualize them. So it's all very interesting, and I'm really excited about this series. And I hope you're watching right now, you're excited about it too, and you want to get involved because it's really not that hard. But actually, it is still a little tricky because we've kind of started experimenting, because this is our first time working with a kind of a streaming kind of presentation format. Um, it's tricky because we're learning OBS ourselves. I'm learning it. Cynthia's learning it. We're learning how to support each other because actually presenting and running your own stream at the same time can be a bit of a challenge, especially when there's an audience. So anyone who's watching, just for the record, if you have any questions at any time, just drop them into our Slack channel, and I'll respond to them on the stream. I'll just answer them. Um, so we're learning OBS. And the reason we're learning OBS is because we could do this whole thing over Zoom, but I think Zoom isn't really cutting it for us because it's not meeting our needs. So what I just want to talk about for a second is why Zoom why Zoom fails us. Like why can't we just do this on Zoom? So the first thing about Zoom is that you're not able to check the quality of your broadcast. So you've probably sat in Zoom meetings and there's been someone, their volume is too low, or it sounds garbled, or they're muting themselves on and off by accident. Like, you know what I'm talking about, okay? So you might be doing the same thing too when you're talking to someone online. How would you know that you're doing that? You can't check the quality of your output coming from Zoom. You might say, oh, well, you'd hit the record button. Zoom has a record button, record a few seconds, look at the video later. That doesn't work either, because Zoom is going to record your quality, your live quality, like what's going into your computer from your side. It's going to record that, and then it's going to record the person you're meeting with, their stream, and those are going to be combined. If the person you're meeting with made a recording, that recording would be different than yours. Their video quality, their audio quality would be better in their video, and vice versa for you. So in order to check your stream quality with Zoom, you would have to ask someone to record it for you and then send you the video later, and then you go, oh, I had no idea I sounded that bad or my video that bad. So that's one drawback, and that's a major one, because when you're presenting, you need to know what you look like. It's important so that you can make changes, just because ultimately you want your audience to feel like you've put a lot of time and effort into making sure they're seeing and hearing things at the highest quality possible. So that's the first thing about Zoom. And from that, there's also audio and video quality issues. And they're not quality issues in the sense that it's bad, but Zoom does some things automatically that that you don't have control over. So Zoom does a noise suppression. Basically, you've got noise in the background all around you. I've got a window fan on over there in the other room. And if I hadn't put on a noise suppression plugin, which we'll talk about later, hopefully quickly, I want this video to be kind of short, because I want you to get excited about OBS. There are so many videos out there that just tell you how to do it, so just Google those. I mean, if you just want to start using OBS right now, there's no reason not to. There's all this information in the world. Mostly, I'm just trying to get you excited about it and contextualize it for Studio Lab, Rad Labs. If you want to present, maybe use OBS, and possibly, if you have coursework that you're trying to, have look really good, presentations that you could show a potential employer or share with your friends or your family, then OBS is going to have your presentation be really awesome. I mean, you don't want to really send a Zoom video. It's not going to sound good. It's not going to look good. It's going to be kind of awkward. I'm not saying this is the most beautiful thing you've ever seen in your life, this setup right now. I mean, I haven't even talked about what you're seeing and why you're seeing an infinite number of me. Hold on a second. Let's see if we can change it up a little bit. There. Look at that. So much better. This is the OBS pyramid, the infinity pyramid. So yeah, sound quality in Zoom is weird because it reads your mind. It tries to compress and suppress noise and filter out noise. And so if your input volume isn't loud enough, the effect is that it's going to be kind of garbled. You've heard it before. You must have. It doesn't sound good. It sounds really bad. In addition to that, your video quality might be kind of bad. Now, like, Zoom is very much for practicalities. It's meant to be instantaneous. If you're watching this video now, what you're seeing, like when I do this, you're going to see it 30 seconds from now. I mean, I just did it, but there's a delay when you stream. YouTube will actually take your stream, kind of store it and set and reformat it into a form that makes it easier for people to watch. It just takes a few seconds for it to do all those tricks to it. Sorry, that's not a good explanation. If you're really into explanations, you can. But that's the reason there's a bit of a delay to streams. So with the video quality not being very good over Zoom either, I mean, because it's been optimized for instantaneous communication, because it's meant to be collaborative. You're speaking with people, like it's very pragmatic. So the quality's lower. But the frame rate is also pretty low, in a way that like feels almost not workable. if anyone's ever shared a video over Zoom, it's just like it's not working out. Like, you can't stream a movie with your friends over Zoom. And in addition to the video quality from screen share not being all that great, the audio quality isn't either. The same thing Zoom does with your microphone to kind of guess, how it sounds, what sounds good. Um, it does the same thing with your desktop audio, and that can also come out being, you know, pretty uncomfortable sounding. It's not a pleasant sound you want, especially if people are going to be listening to you talk for more than 10 minutes straight. It's got to sound good, or it's gonna drive people crazy. So the last thing about Zoom is that Zoom is very much within the context of like your job or the work that you have to do as a student. You're meeting with people for very practical reasons. I know you can schedule Zoom chats with your friends and your family to kind of get to, catch up and see each other over video. Um, that's exhausting. Been in Zoom meetings all day. You've had Zoom on your brain. Like you really just kind of want to not be on Zoom at the end of the day. You want something more casual, want something with better quality. You just want to get away from all your weird Zoom meetings that you've had all day. You just want to chill out and be on YouTube or be on Twitch or be on Vimeo or some other platform that feels a bit more um, outside of work. I don't know what to say. So those are some of the things that you'll encounter with Zoom. They're not bad. They're limitations, I would say. And when it comes to presenting, you're going to want to do something better than that. Um, so let me talk about OBS for a few seconds. Um, the main difference is that OBS is very much like one to many, and Zoom is this kind of big room of people talking to each other. That's a great thing for discussions, seminars, conferences. But if you just want to present, I think OBS in combination with a platform that supports streaming like YouTube or Twitch, Vimeo, and there's actually even a way to connect your OBS output to Zoom. It's a little tricky. Maybe we'll talk about it near the end, but you can kind of do whatever you want. So OBS is very much associated with the gamer. I don't mean to say gamer, but games. Streaming, esports, those kinds of things. And so that kind of turns some people off from it immediately. Like, oh, why would I use this tool that like a bunch of people who play games like that's their thing. There's a similar association with Discord. Like, oh, like why would I like Slack is obviously better than Discord because Discord is for games and I want to do something that doesn't involve games. It doesn't have to be. There's nothing about the screen you're looking at that says anything gamey. You can use it for any purpose, like doing a presentation to a bunch of students at Princeton, which is what I'm doing, which is kind of weird. It's not weird. It's every day. It's getting a little more. Okay, it's definitely. Oh gosh, I got kind of distracted. So it's open source and it's free. Okay, what else? What else do you need? I mean, end of story. That's kind of like huge deal. But get back to games for 1 second. Because people who play games use OBS. OBS is like very finely tuned. It is great. I mean, it does crash every once in a while, but when it's doing its thing, you are putting out like 2 or 4K video at 60 frames per second with like beautiful audio quality with only a few seconds of delay time. And it's like, okay, that's pretty legit. But it doesn't just have to be used for games. So one of the things I want to show you is that this is kind of, when I start to show you some of the features, you might be like, oh, it's kind of like you're running your own TV show. And it's like, yeah, it is kind of like a TV show. So before I started the talk tonight, I had a pre-roll going. Oh gosh, I lost it. That's okay. But some things I want to show you are I've got many different cameras hooked up at the moment. So let me show you camera 2. Well, it's actually camera 1. Hi. And then I have also a side camera. Yay. And so you can set up all these different kinds of cameras. So for next week, I'm going to be doing a presentation on Jurassic Park, a Jurassic presentation. It's really going to be fantastic. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to have a camera mounted above and then a camera mounted at me. So I'm going to be doing stuff with my hands, and then I'm going to overlay, me talking about it. So you can have all these cameras. It's basically like your own little TV station. Webcams are a little hard to come by these days, and selling out. But I think they're going to be in stock pretty soon. So keep your eye out for webcams. If you see them on Amazon and it doesn't say like back in stock for 2 months, just get one. It's going to be 2 months eventually from now. So just hang in there. This is the webcam for my laptop. It's like, oh, that does not look good. And it's like, yeah, it does look great. I mean, these cameras were about $80 a piece, and they're fantastic. You can also get really into the settings on these things. You can control, like the autofocus, the white balance. You got a whole bunch of control. Yeah. What else about OBS? Well, because it's open source, it supports plugins. Sorry, I made some notes for tonight, and I'm just like reading right off of them. So the plugins are basically like, if you think about OBS as this block that creates things, and then they come to this output. Well, plugins are kind of like this thing that you can put in between that signal path, and it can affect or alter or change the behavior of OBS without fundamentally messing up the most critical parts of it. And so a lot of developers like to create their own plugins so that they can do what they want within a program without screwing the whole thing up. So some of the plugins I just wanted to mention very quickly that I think are very exciting. And now that I'm changing between cameras, I'm just crazy about this. Like, hey, how's it going over there? So some of the plugins, you've got the ability to change between scenes. If you look over here in the bottom left, this is the scenes category. You can download an app for your phone, and on your phone wirelessly change between these scenes. Similarly with phones, you can also kind of capture video from your phone and also capture video from your computer, probably a game, and this could be you coming into here, and these two streams can be merged in your final output stream that comes out online. So that's pretty fantastic. You can do that with a phone and a computer or 2 computers, and the 2 computer thing is popular amongst people who are doing that highest resolution, highest frame rate output, regardless of whether it's for or not. Oh, there's a question. Is there a good middle ground platform that allows for both live instantaneous conference call and high quality streaming? Probably. I don't know. I mean, yeah. I mean, I would imagine they cost money. I'm sorry, I don't have a good answer for you, Cynthia. OBS is certainly free, so that kind of puts it into the ground despite some of the drawbacks. So let's talk a little bit more about what you do within OBS, what all these things are, how do you get going. Check the time here. Be done in about 10 minutes, but like I said, this kind of stuff you see over here, settings, all this junk, you know what? Just watch a YouTube video about it. Someone will blast through it in like 4 minutes, or you could read the very simple documentation on OBS's website that tells you how to set up a stream. It's easy. 1, you need a YouTube account. 2, you need to request stream privileges on your YouTube account at least 24 hours before you want to do your stream. YouTube does this thing where they validate your account and then set up like a stream key for you. You take that stream key and you plug it into OBS, and then you can stream directly to your account. stream key is like really important. Um, if someone gets it, then you're kind of in trouble. Your stream key is not like your login password, which changed by having emailed to you. I'm not even sure how to change your stream key, but you really want to keep it secret. And I'll just show you what the YouTube interface looks like for streaming. But this is me, and what you're looking at in this window right now is delayed by 20 or so seconds. You can see that I've been on for about 35 minutes. 2 people are watching. Thank you. I love you. Um, able to write the description and the title in this area. Right now I've set it to unlisted because I'm mostly just reaching out to a few people who are thinking about doing rad labs, and the video is for posterity. It's for the future. It's gonna be logged online. You can check it out. Now this is your stream key. Notice that it's got a bunch of little dots on it rather than the actual key itself. That's to prevent situations exactly like this where you're streaming, and if you were to click reveal, then people who would be watching your stream would now have access to your stream key, and they would be able to um, see what you're doing. They would be able to use your channel. They'd be able to hijack your channel, and it's much more common than you would think. I mean, you imagine a hacker just looking for like my first live stream, and it's got 3 or 4 views on it, and they're like, okay, this person probably had their key revealed. Um, So this is the part of OBS where you input your stream key and you just cut and paste it right there. Then you hit OK. Come over here and you hit this button that says Start Streaming, and it works. That's kind of it. You have some like minor setup things to do. Um, right now, I'm trying to stream at 1080, but it's probably coming through a bit lower than that because you'll discover that you are limited by your internet service provider's upload speeds. So this is my speed test, and this is a great website. It's fun to check. Wherever you are, if you're like in a cafe or you're at school or you're at home, get a sense of how fast your internet speed is. Now you might notice it says Mbps at the bottom. That stands for megabits per second. And bits are a bit strange because they're not megabytes. So take your megabits per second, kind of just divide it by 8 megabytes per second. So if you wanted to kind of crunch this number, maybe I'm doing about 600 kilobytes per second at an upload speed. That is not a great upload speed. You could not do um, constant HD 60 frames per second at that. So very limited. One thing you might think is that, oh, I should like use an Ethernet cable to connect to the wall. That will be faster. And it's like, no. I mean, you can see the download speed is kind of out of control here, and the upload speed is very slow. This is a product of my internet service provider and not my Wi-Fi. It's not my router. It's not my connection. It's the service. So I think I'm spending about $40 per month, and the upload speed does not dramatically increase as you spend dramatically more money. So I would just say keep that in mind. You see people on Twitch who are streaming, like they're probably spending a lot of money every month on their internet. So yeah, I said I wanted to be done in 10 minutes. We're getting there. I've got one fun thing that I want to share. So this is my example. I've got just want to show you one of the small things that you in OBS in terms of editing and arranging your different video inputs. So I've got a window capture source set up, and I've got it capturing a Firefox window. And in Zoom, you might have seen people do window capture, and they just share their web browser, and it's all there. they're logged into their internet, their LastPass is up there, and then all their bookmarks are up there. And I just wanted to say that I've got my embarrassing photos here, got my link, my bookmark to my Ed Sheeran fan club page. I'm the president. This is my password for everything. If I click that, you would just see all my passwords. This is the bad music that I love. And, I'm in a meeting with my boss, and I really want them to know that I'm thinking about getting another job, and so I hope they see my job hunting bookmark. I'm joking. Okay, so let's fix this. We can crop this window so that you only see the content of the web browser. So I'm going to come down to this window. Oh, you know what? This is going to be really tricky because I can't do both at the same time. Oh wait, yes I can. No wait, no I can't. So cool. Let's go here again. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to examples. You're just gonna have to use your imaginations here. I'm sorry, but go to window capture. I'm right clicking on my window capture, and I'm going to setting. Going to filters. I'm going to crop. I'm applying a crop filter. Now I am cropping out the top of my Firefox window very slowly, very dramatic. Just gonna crop that out. Bam! There we are. So now what you can see is this is my web browser. I can do anything I want. This web browser now. We can go to board. I've been collecting bookmarks for the Studio Lab of websites that I think are interesting. It's me inspired. I'm thinking about what to share on our Slack channel and things that I could turn into more rad labs. But look at this. I mean, I've got this window down here in the bottom right. That's me being like blah 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 blah, and then in the top left, I mean, it looks kind of elegant. The only thing is that we've got maybe this scroll thing over here. Let's get rid of that too. I mean, why not? Goodbye. So now I've got this two window set up, and it looks kind of elegant. It doesn't even look like we're in a web browser. I can still use it as if it was a web browser, and it's not entirely perfect because you still see the drop down menu type. I mean, I'm sure you could do that. I mean, you were super professional, but that's kind of it. It's 8:30. There's so much more to learn. Anyone who's interested in learning more about OBS, I am too. So let's talk sometime. Share, that I've made while working with it, and some pro tips. There's so much more. I didn't even talk about the audio input. Important that is. I mean, probably been watching me talk this whole time, and seeing this meter fall perfectly within this yellow range with every word that I say, and that's there's a way of doing that because you can turn those settings off and it doesn't work. It doesn't work. You gotta do something. Have it sound that good. Yeah. What else? I don't think I got a chance to go through all the different kinds of plugins you can do. So there's the pairing with the phone and pairing with the other computer to do multiple stream merging. Having OBS output to Zoom is also possible. You can overlay text, real-time text. You can have a .txt document set up. Whatever you type into that .txt document will populate on your stream. Position it and size it and use whatever font you want. I really like that as a trick because when I was working at the NYU Game Center, one of the faculty there used it to kind of update the score in a weekly esports meet that they had. So when blue team was doing well, it was like 3, and when red team was losing, it was 1. And you could type those in the text document. I really like that. So you can also doing a Twitch stream. Got a live chat. The live chat can be superimposed on your OBS stream. That makes it so your viewers can watch your stream full screen and still get the benefit of seeing what's going on in the chat. The speedrunning community, people who try and finish games as quickly as possible. By the way, the Games Done Quick festival is coming up pretty soon. It's a speedrunning annual event where people raise money for charities. It's a lot of fun to watch. I'd recommend it. I'll post a link into the general Slack sometime because it's great to just have on in the background while you're working or something like that. There's also, if you own a green screen or if you have a green piece of paper, you can put it behind you and chroma key that out so it's just you floating on top of the background and you don't have to be a little box like this. There's also a program called FaceRig. I'll tell you about FaceRig. It's kind of weird. But you can use a program that will basically take your face, similar to something like this, some face tracking, and then and then put your facial movements on top of one of these like weird raccoons or other people. So if you wanted to be a Shiba Inu in your live stream, like, and I don't know if I'd always recommend that, but you can do that if you want. There's also probably ways of doing it with other software, like processing, for example. You could do whatever kind of video. If you can get video out of something, you can get it into OBS. So just keep that in mind. This isn't something that's limited to presentations, gaming. You can also do artistic, creative, collaborative, experimental video work in it too. It's also very exciting. Just the tip of the iceberg. So yeah, it's 8:33, and I think that's kind of going to be the end of the live stream. I don't think we've got that many viewers tonight, but if any of you have any questions or if you want to hear more about something, I know it was mostly just, like I said, this is kind of just an advertisement for OBS and like why I'm excited about it, and so much to learn. There's already so much out on the internet, so like I don't need to tediously go through everything because someone has already done that. But yeah, post your questions within the next 20 seconds. Otherwise, I'll take your silence as we all get on with our evenings, which would be perfectly fine. I'm on the Slack channel all the time, so you can always shoot me a direct message, ask me a question. I'm always interested to hear what people are working on. That's kind of it. So Cynthia asked a question. It's too good for the stream. In what circumstances would you not recommend being Shiba Inu? They're all fine, honestly. Sorry, they're all good. It's just you could always be a Shiba. All right. Well, thanks for watching, everyone. I will say that next week I'll be back with an analysis of Jurassic Park. It's mostly about how the story of kind of genetic engineering and manipulation and moral hazard and ethical endangerment of tourists and stuff kind of parallels the transition in Hollywood from practical effects to CGI effects, and how when Ian Malcolm says something like you were too busy thinking about whether you could, you never thought whether you should. Let's recontextualize all those lines around CGI in Hollywood. The other thing I'll focus on is how sensory the movie is. There's so many scenes that highlight touch, sight especially, um, taste, hearing, and parallels those with the dinosaurs themselves. And those kinds of scenes where, for instance, Sam Neill and Laura Dern getting out of the Jeep and seeing the Brontosaurus. Oh my God, I'm not even sure what dinosaur it is, but when they see it and they're like, wow, that's the best dinosaur I've ever seen in my life. Them prefacing that scene with their disbelief and amazement is what convinces you as a watcher that the dinosaur is real. And there's scenes like that all over the movie. Um, so I'm really looking forward to sharing that with everyone because it will be better than this presentation, and it's something I'm really passionate about that I don't have another opportunity or another outlet to share with people. So that'll be next Wednesday at 8. Yeah.